And many in this country thought New York's Archbishop, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, might become the first American pope. And even though he didn't get the nod, Dolan arrived to a hero's welcome last night at the Pontifical North American College, with the crowd chanting his name. And Charlie spoke with Dolan about the hopes of the cardinals who choose Pope Francis.
What does this choice represent for the church, and why do you believe he was chosen?
Let me try to answer that one in two ways. First, what does it mean from the top down? What does it mean from heaven to us? And it means, and this resounds with Catholics, it's part of our makeup, it tells us that Jesus continues to take care of his church. He sent us another good shepherd. I think it reminds us of two things that are at the heart of Catholic life today. Number one is the amazing expanse of the church in what we might call the second and third world, okay? So Latin America is just bursting with Catholic life. Now, they got their problems and challenges, Charlie, and this man we just elected is very savvy about them, okay? But in general, he has an intense admiration for the deeply profound, rich Catholic chemistry of South America, of Latin America. And it shows the universality of the church. If you Google Jorge Bergoglio, now known as Pope Francis I, you'll see that he is particularly celebrated for his tender love for the poor, especially the poor in Buenos Aires, his archdiocese. And that, of course, is a constant.
Does he represent reform?
Well, every pope will represent reform, okay? Now, in one way, Charlie, reform is at the essence of the Pope's job description. Why? Because he's echoing Jesus, who says, reform your lives. But most people, when they ask that, I don't know if this was driving your question, most people mean, will he change church doctrine? That he can't do. We have to remember that, again, the job description of the Pope is to preserve, to conserve the integrity of the faith and pass it on. Now, he might, what's the word you used?
Reform.
Reform. He might reform ways that's done. He might kind of stress particular doctrines of the church that perhaps haven't been stressed as much in the past, but he's not going to tamper with the immutable teaching of the church.
Will he reform the power that has been in Rome and the Roman Curia and the power of the papacy, because he comes from outside of that?
So
that balance will change.
You all know, I'm not telling you anything new, this is your business, but it's no secret that there's a general sentiment among the leadership in the church that the Roman Curia, the central government of the Catholic Church, does need some attention, and that the oil of the machinery of the Church Universal needs some oiling, okay, and some cleaning.
He's 76. Is he a transitional pope or a new beginning for the church?
I'd say new beginning. I hope God gives him a good decade, and I think he's...
he can change the church in a decade.
Oh, yeah, I mean, in cooperation with God's grace. Some have said that Pope Francis has got the mind of a Benedict and the heart of a John Paul II.